The second important criteria for the organization of learning experiences is sequence. What is sequence? When you talk about sequence and continuity, what if there is continuity but at the same grade level that we had talked about in the last lecture as well, that we have to ensure that continuity also moves from grade to grade. अगर continuity एक ही grade level पर है और उसकी repetition ही होती चली जा रही है, so इसका कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, it will be useless. So we have to ensure that repetition or recurring of concepts, ideas or skills is at a higher level than the previous one, so that we can see there is building up of a skill and the concept as per understanding, and we can see a continuity properly. If it remains at the same level and the complexity is not increased or breadth and depth of any concept or skill is not been increased, then it will end up in an activity in itself, and learning experiences will not be developing new concepts, new ideas or new skills among the students. So we can say that sequence is something which goes one step ahead of continuity. It requires that every new experience, हर नया तजर्बा, हर नया स्किल या कॉन्सेप्ट जो आप बच्चों को पढ़ाना चाह रहे हैं, वो पिछले कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बिल्ड किया जाए या उससे ज़्यादा बेहतर हो और इन डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ज़्यादा दे सके. सो इट हैज़ टू बिल्ड अपॉन द प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लर्निंग. It can be learning of concepts and ideas, it can be learning of skills, and it can be learning of attitudes or values. So we have to ensure that when we say there is to be a sequence, the sequence requires that we teach something simple in the beginning and then we move on to complex and then further complex, and the complexity keeps on increasing with the grade levels. So there is vertical relationship, it stays there between the learning experiences, and learning takes place at a better level. Unless learning of understanding of concepts and the ideas and skills is not going more deeply and broadly into the objectives as per desired at any grade level, it will end up in the learning experiences themselves and no learning will take place. So we have to ensure that there is a sequence, and this sequence it ensures that we move from simple to complex, और जहाँ पर हम in depth understanding को बढ़ाते चले जाते हैं. Sequence goes one step ahead of continuity, and if we take an example where we had said that we want students to develop reading skills in social studies material, so what would sequence require? The sequence would require that the new learning experience after the simple one, we add a complex social studies material, or we select a material which is complex as compared to the previous one, and students, they have to make an effort to read that, and they learn new terms and they develop understanding. With this increasing breadth in the operational skills, when we say operational skills, that students, they will be able to read and comprehend and then to describe something. So once it is involved in the reading at a greater level or higher level, we can ensure that there is a sequence in the skill which is to be developed, and learning experience will be fulfilling the requirement of being in the sequence. Secondly, we have to ensure that there are chances of in-depth analysis, so that it is not the repetition of what was taught in the previous grade. So हम ये चाहते हैं कि अब आप रीडिंग में इस तरह का मटेरियल शामिल कर दें जहाँ पर एनालिसिस के चांसेस पिछली रीडिंग से ज़्यादा हों, और बच्चों को हम रीडिंग के बाद, कंप्रीहेंड करने के बाद और उसको डिस्क्राइब करने के बाद, अब हम ये चाहते हैं कि वो प्रॉपरली इस रीडिंग को एनालाइज भी कर सकें और अपना एनालिसिस फिर आपके साथ शेयर भी कर सकें. इफ़ वी कंप्लीट or we fulfill these two conditions, to ensure sequence in any kind of objective which is defined. And here we have taken an example of social studies and the skill development, which is reading in social studies material. We will have to ensure that material which is being shared with the students or which is given to the students to read in the higher grade, it requires them to learn better skills or higher level skills and to practice those skills in that grade level. Similarly, with the objective that we wanted students to develop a meaningful understanding of the concept of energy. So here the sequence would be that we have to introduce this energy concept in the beginning in simple way, and once we want to go in-depth understanding of the concept, we have to ensure that there is greater depth and breadth while we discuss the concept of energy, and there are chances and there are opportunities to apply this understanding into broader and deeper situations so that students can share or they can exhibit what kind of skills they have developed. And here we are dealing with the concept of energy. So they should be able to develop an in-depth understanding of the concept of energy. At the same time, they should be able to apply this concept of energy to complex problems and issues, and they can also show this with evidence that they are able to perform. Once students can perform this in front of the class, or they can write, whichever way we want them to exhibit the skill, it can be ensured that there was a sequence while we were teaching this concept of energy at different grade levels. So we can conclude that sequence in learning experiences while we are developing curriculum, it requires that whenever we are teaching any of the skill or concept or attitudes at any grade level, we have to ensure that all these concepts, skills or attitudes, they are treated at a higher level and there is a succession in the learning experience. We have to introduce the new learning experience which is advanced to the previous one, and there are more chances of conducting analysis and their sharing their experiences. And sequence, it strongly rejects the repetition. Once things are in a sequence और एक तरतीब हमें नज़र आती है, तो हम ये देख सकते हैं कि कहीं पर भी कोई लूप होल नहीं है, और जब तरतीब पाई जाएगी और हम देख सकते हैं कि सादा कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर या सादा एटीट्यूड और स्किल्स के बाद कॉम्प्लेक्स एटीट्यूड या डिमांडिंग एटीट्यूड्स आ रहे हैं और कॉम्प्लेक्स स्किल्स की डेवलपमेंट हो रही है, तो हम बखूबी अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस में एक सीक्वेंस मौजूद है और किसी किस्म का लूप होल नहीं है और रेपिटिशन भी नहीं हो रही. सो व्हाइल वी इंश्योर that learning experiences, they are organized vertically, it is very easy to see that whether it fulfills two situations or two conditions where we are ensuring that there is continuity. एक तसलसल है, कोई भी लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस जो हम देना चाहते हैं, चाहे वो कॉन्सेप्ट डेवलपमेंट का है, स्किल का है या एटीट्यूड डेवलपमेंट का है. And if we see there is a sequence that every new experience is building upon the previous experience, then we can ensure that learning experiences are vertically organized and we can move forward with our development process for the curriculum.